Hi there everybody, welcome to this video. My name is Matthias, also known as Madmatti, and in this video I want to give you something like, well, a bit more than a brief overview for the Teamspeak 3 permission system. I want to give you like a basic introduction to the whole thing itself, and especially what I want to explain in this video is what are powers and how do you work with powers and needed powers. And I want to explain to you the hierarchy in Teamspeak 3, so having different layers like server groups, channel groups, client permissions, and all that kind of stuff. So let's get started. First of all, I want to show you how you can enable the advanced permission system. Just click on Settings, Options, and Applications. You'll find the advanced permission system. So once that is enabled, you should have 5 layers here in your permission system: server groups, client permissions, channel groups, and channel client permissions. What these tiers, this is tier 1, you have different tiers. What they do, I will explain that later on. First of all, I want to show you some basic stuff about what is a permission. You have 2 types of permissions in Teamspeak. One of them starts with B underscore. The B is for Boolean, which means the permission's either true or false. So let's say join channels. You have join B, join permanent channels. Whoops, show description. Join permanent channels. You either can join channels or you can't. That is all there is to it. And the other thing there is some of them start with I underscore, and those are integer permissions, meaning you can add some power to it. There are a few exceptions to that, something like file transfer quota, so how many megabytes you can upload a month and stuff. That's also an integer value, but the very most of them are power permissions. So I want to give you an example for the difference between powers and booleans. I will work with the channel join power and the join permanent channels to show you the difference. First of all, I have to create a second channel. I'll just call this one a test channel, and there we go. Now, I've got 2 guests here. I should probably make one of them normal. So I have test alpha and test beta. And my test beta is a normal group, my test alpha is a guest. Now, I'm going to edit the guest group. I will remove the permission for him to join a permanent channel. Now, he can't join the channel because it says fails on B channel join permanent, so that is the name of this permission. Enabling this will allow him to switch channels. Now there is a second thing. In general, so generally he's allowed to join channels. However, we can restrict his access to certain channels, and if we only want him to be allowed to use join a few channels, we will have to use powers for this. So I'll make a second channel, and I will call this test B. I don't know. And on this one, we'll go on channel permission. No, sorry, not channel permissions. I will go on edit channel, permissions, and the needed power for joining this one should be, let's say, 50. Now, the guest group is allowed to join permanent channels. However, the guest group only has 0 channel join power. What you need is 50 power to join the channel. This channel only requires 0 power. So our guest can join this channel, but he's unable to join the second channel. Okay, that is the difference between integers and Booleans. Well, I hope you agree that understanding the Boolean permissions is a rather simple matter. However, the integer permissions is pretty much a thing which confuses most people out there, so I will give you a few more examples to this, and especially I want to pick some examples where you can really see where the needed powers and where the powers come from. Because, let's say I'm a server admin and I want to kick somebody. Kick. I have got client kick from server power, so the power to kick somebody from the server of 75. Now, if I want to kick somebody, this power will be compared to the needed client kick from server power. However, the problem with this is that, let's say I put this on 74. One could think that, well, I've got 74 power to kick somebody, but I need 75, so I cannot kick this guy. That is not correct, because, well, I do have 74 power, but this buddy is in server group guest. Therefore, I need to check out the guest group to see how much power I require to kick him. And it says 25. So this client is in the guest server group, and the guest server group has a required power to kick somebody from the server of 25. I'm a server admin, I've got 74. Sorry, I meant 25. Yeah, sorry. Of 74. Therefore, kicking this guy should be a simple matter. I will just kick him from the server. Bam, there we go. Just reconnect this one. Test alpha and connect. There we go. So I was able to kick him, even though I could not kick a server admin, because to kick a server admin I need 75 client kick from server power. I only have 74. So making him a server admin will make me unable to kick him, because I do not have enough client kick from server power, which is here. So that is one example of how the powers work. The problem is you really need to know which needed power you need to compare it with. So that is one important thing you should take with you. A different example would be the group modify power. This one might be a bit easier to understand. So let's say group modify power. The group modify power tells you how much power you have to edit a group, like a server group and so on. So if I want to edit the group server admin, I need 75 power to do so. So needed group modify power 75. I have 75 power, so I can edit this server group. I could delete this permission or whatever. This is the same thing for the normal and guest. I also need 75 power to edit them, but they do not have any power to edit any server groups. Now, although this one to 74, so I can change it back later on, and this one to 74. Now, I could still edit the server admin group, because I have 74 power to edit a group. I need 74 to do this for server admin. If I wanted to edit the normal group, it will tell you I do not have enough group modify power, because I need 75. Same for the guest group. So again, the group modify power will be compared to the needed group modify power of the group you want to edit. That is very important to understand. Right, I just had to put my group modify power back up to 75 using server query, so please do not do this, please do not lower this. That was merely an example. Well, there's one last power I really want to show you, because it is pretty much the most important power there is. I am talking about the permission modify power. There are three types of permission modify powers. First of all, the permission modify power itself, which tells you, well, as the name says, how much permission you have to modify a permission, how much power you have to modify permissions in general. So if I was to lower this to 74, I could not edit anything in here anymore because the needed permission modify power, also called grant, the grant value of a permission, is set to 75. So I have a needed permission modify power for this permission of 75. Lowering this to 74 will make me unable to edit this permission. I would not, well, how should I say it? I would not lose the permission to modify the server group itself because my group modify power is high enough. However, all permissions in here have a grant value of 75, 100 or 0. 0 means you cannot edit this at all. Doesn't matter which permission modify power you have. 100 is for the guy who's hosting your Teamspeak server, so for admin server query, and 75 is for server admins. There's not really a value different to those because no one else really needs to edit the permissions for anything apart from server admins and your host. Right, so the permission modify power will be compared to the grant value. There is one example I want to give you. That is the, let's say, priority speaker. Now, a few other things I could use to do this. Priority speaker. Client is priority speaker. What is a priority speaker? I can right-click myself and hit priority speaker. I will get this icon, and what it does is when people are talking in the channel and I start talking, their volume will be lowered so that the priority speaker can be heard properly. Well, if I want to give someone the priority speaker, basically what is happening is that I'm giving this client the permission that the client is a priority speaker. Therefore, I need to be able to modify this permission. I need to have a grant value for this. Let me show you why. This guy is in server group guest. He will try to add himself to the what's it called? To the priority speaker thingy. He can't. He doesn't have enough permission modify power. Well, of course, because there is a 0 here. I'll put this to 1. He needs 1 permission modify power, and I will give him a permission modify power of 1. Permission modify power of 1. Well, it will still fail, but no, it won't. Sorry, I thought it needs some channel permission modify power as well. No, he doesn't. Right, now he's able to assign this permission to him. So that is about permission modify power. One thing which is rather important. Okay, enough about that kind of stuff. Let's rock on with some more advanced stuff, I'd say. I want to show you these different tabs, what they do, what the hierarchy is in Teamspeak 3, and how it all works. Well, if you have been using Teamspeak 2 in the past, you will know server groups and channel groups, but you wouldn't know client permissions, channel permissions, and channel client permissions. Well, most of the names are rather self-explanatory, but there's a lot of stuff you should know about this. Server groups, I don't need to say much about this. A server group is a group which is global on the server, meaning if you're assigned to the server admin group, you will be a server admin on the whole server. Unlike the channel groups, if you are channel admin, you are not channel admin on the whole server, you're just channel admin in one channel. So, what are server groups used for? Well, basically, administrating, so passing on server admin rights, or making somebody a member so he can join certain channels and so on. Or maybe making a file transfer group, so allowing people to upload and download files. That are some things you could use the server groups for. Client permissions. Client permissions are pretty much the same as server groups. However, these are assigned to just one client. They are rather useful to use because, let's say I want to give somebody some permissions, but I don't quite want to increase his server server group. So I don't know. The guest group has a talk power of, hang on, let's say he has a talk power of 25. So I can make a channel moderated. Hang on. I can make this channel moderated. Here. 26. These two guys can't talk because the guest has 25 power and the normal group doesn't have any talk power either. So increasing his talk power to 50 will allow him to talk. This microphone muted sign has disappeared now. Now I don't quite want to make this one a member, but I want to give him one single permission, which I want to increase. So I could just right click on him, go on client permissions, and talk power. I can give him 26 talk power now, so he can talk in this channel, but he wouldn't get all of the normal, of the server group normal permissions. So it's quite useful for a few things. Different example would be ignore bans. He's unbannable now. So I could hit ban this guy, and well, it fails on that this guy ignores bans. But usually only the server admin group has ignore bans. They ignore bans, they don't. So if I have a friend on the server and I don't want him to be banned, I can make him unbannable without making him a server admin. That is what the client permissions are for. Channel permissions. Well, channel permissions are used for two things, actually. First of all, restricting access to a channel. For instance, a needed channel join power. So the needed channel join power determines how much power you need to join a specific channel. Or the other thing is you could add stuff like kick power, and everybody who's in the channel will have this kick power. So you can both assign powers and require powers. What are those made for? Those what can you use them for, the channel permissions? You could make an invisible channel with this by adding a needed channel subscribe power, or you could probably do something a bit more fancy. You could disallow poking. So the client poke power, the needed client poke power. Let's check this out. Beta poke, alpha pokes beta. There you go, works. I will move the beta one to the test channel, and in the test channel I will add a needed client poke power of 75. And now test alpha should not be able to poke this guy. So poke, unable to poke him. So if you're recording a video, or I don't know, just don't want to be disturbed, you could add a needed private message power, a needed poke power, a needed move a client from channel to channel, so you can't get moved out of there. So yeah, that kind of stuff. Next layer is channel groups, which you probably know already. Channel admins, I don't know, guests, voice for allowing people to talk in a certain channel. Yeah, just the channel admin concept, I think it's quite obvious what it does. So I will not talk much about this, but rather move on to the final set of permissions, which is the channel client permissions. You probably have guessed already that this is a mix of channel permissions and client permissions. What does it do? It assigns a certain permission to one client and one client only, but only if this client is in one specific channel. So, one client only in one specific channel. What could that be used for? Well, let's say not that easy to think of an example for this one. Yeah, let's say I've got somebody I'm making Let's Plays with, yeah? And I might be unpokeable in general because, I don't know, I'm server admin or whatever. Doesn't matter, and I want this guy to be unpokeable when he's in the recording channel. So you can poke him in general, but you cannot poke him while he is in the recording channel. Other people could still poke each other even when they're in the recording channel, but just not him. So test channel, again, I will select the I will select the channel client permissions and go on poke power. So the needed client poke power 75. I will go in there as well. This buddy can poke me, but he cannot poke him. Moving this one to a different channel will allow him to poke him as well. So that is rather complicated. You can do pretty much anything with this. Advantage, of course, you can just make everything so specific. Disadvantage, it takes a lot of time. Now, the important thing to understand about these 5 sets of groups is that they override each other. So server groups are, let's say, the most global groups. They will give you a basic set of permissions, but if you go down these tiers, so from 1 to 5, or let's say go up, they get more and more specific. So from having a server group to only having one client with global permissions, to restricting him to one channel, but everybody in this channel will have this, to a group of people in a channel, to one guy in just one channel. So it just gets narrower and narrower, pretty much. Therefore, higher tier will override lower tier. I'll show you an example. I will go on my permission overview and hit kick. So as before, I have a client kick from server power of 74. I'm also a channel, well, this doesn't quite matter. Yeah, I come out with a kick from server power of 74. Now I could go on client permissions and add a kick power. Let's say a client kick from server power of 75. Reloading this. Oops, I assigned this to the wrong guy. Sorry. Sorry about that. 75. So reloading this will say, okay, I've got server groups, server admin gives me 74. Comes out with 74. I've got client permissions with 75. The overall is 75. The result is 75. Now, one could think that is because 75 is higher than 74. No. That is not the reason. Client permissions is higher than server groups. Therefore, if this value is lower, you will have the lower value. So, client permissions override server groups. Channel permissions override client permissions and server groups. However, there's one big thing to keep in mind. There is something called skip. This skippy thingy. what does skip do? It will make you ignore channel permissions and channel groups. Example, I have got a client kick from channel power of 75. Kick from channel. Now, hang on, let me just disallow something. So kick from channel. I've got a kick from channel power of 75. My guest gives me a kick from channel power of 50. I come out with 50. Adding a skip to this. Sorry, I don't have enough permission modifier power because hang on, I removed some permission modifier power somewhere. Yeah, there we go. No, I can't remove this one. Hang on. Sorry about that. I just quickly had to re-enable this. I'll remove the permission modifier power of the channel groups now, and I should be able to proceed. Now, I'll remove this again, and going on channel, sorry, kick from channel powers. I have 50, I have 75 here, 50 there, comes out with 50. Adding a skip to this will ignore the channel group for this permission. Also, the needed power, I need 50 power to be kicked. Adding a skip will push this up to 75 because it will read the needed client kick from channel power of the server admin group. So that is what skip is all about. There is a permission called skip channel group permissions. This permission is also shown down here. Skip flag enabled for group. Yeah, it will show down here. What it does is it will put a skip in here for every single permission. So basically, I do not have any channel permissions or any channel groups. That's what you can think what's happening, pretty much. So all of the permissions are being ignored. So that's what skip is all about. Where was I? I was doing channel groups. So I've got my channel admin and stuff. I can add further permissions here, mainly for guests. I mean, a channel admin is mainly useful for guests. A guest doesn't really have any permission, and he can create a channel, and if people join his channel, he can kick him out of there. Because his channel admin has kick from channel power. That is what it's mainly used for. Last tier was this one. I'm not going to show anything about this anymore. One last thing I want to show is what negate does. What does negate do? Let's say I have got several server groups. Let's say I call this one jail. I want to make a server group which disallows people to join channels. First of all, I've got to make this server group permanent. Group is permanent, because otherwise people can reconnect, and that kicks them out of the group. And now I want to take away that join power. So I could do this by adding a negative channel join power, or by removing the join permanent channels. Both will do. Either of them will do, sorry. Let's say I will do this with the channel join power. So you need 0 power to join a channel in general, and he has -1. However, adding this guy to server group jail, hang on, remove them from normal, will come out as follows. Join. He has a channel join power of -1. Oh, sorry, I should leave him in server group normal. Sorry about that. He has a channel join power of 50 in normal, and he has a channel join power of -1 in jail. Overall, channel join power of 50. Doesn't make much sense to make such a jail group. Skip won't do, because skipping channel permissions and channel groups doesn't do any good. We need negate. Negate will do this for you. It will return the lowest value of one tier. So for the server groups, he's in group jail and in group normal, and -1 is lower than 50. As negate is enabled, -1 is returned. So now that this buddy is in server group jail, even though he's in server group normal, he can't do anything. I think I should even be able to give him server admin permissions, and he still can't join any channels. I'm server admin, I can. He can't. So that is what skip does. Now, there have been tons of information for you, like so much at once, and I know getting into the permission system isn't easy, so I want to give you one more example, and hope this will clear things up a bit more. I want to show you how you can pretty much split one server into several sub-servers, I'd like to say. And all I will use is server groups, and channel permissions. So I will show you how you can let them interact with each other. This might take a bit, because I want to make this example, what should I say, just with as much detail as I can, so let's go for it. I will have a first channel. I will call this Clan A. So we have two clans on here, Clan A and Clan B. Clan B. And I'll remove all the other channels. And basically what I want to have is this guy is in Clan B, this guy's in Clan A. And they are both guests. Hang on. Both guests. Yep. And I want the test alpha to be able to see who's in Clan A, to be able to join the Clan A channel, and pretty much administrate the channel. However, he should not be able to do anything in Clan B. Therefore, using server groups won't quite do. If you're using server groups, you can either edit both or neither, pretty much. So you could not say test beta has more power than test alpha, but test alpha has more power than test beta. So one of them would be able to edit both, and one of them would be able to edit only one. That is quite a big problem if you're using server groups only. However, I will show you how you can use channel groups to get around this problem. Okay. First of all, we said we don't want them to be able to see who's inside. We will use subscribe power for this. Let's say we start off with a needed subscribe power of 50 for both. Now, if I move them out of there, you will see. Hang on. You will see what's happening. This guy cannot see who's in Clan A. He cannot see who's in Clan B. There is somebody in there. He can't see him. Why is that? You will see this little tick here at the default channel, which means your subscription status is subscribed. For the other ones, it is not subscribed. So you cannot see who's inside. That's because he doesn't have enough power to subscribe to them. Now, I will give him sufficient power by using channel groups. I will give I'll make a new channel group, call this member, and make it permanent, of course. Group is permanent. And I will give him subscribe power. Channel subscribe power of 50. Now, adding him to, where is it? Channel admin and him, oh hang on, and him to channel admin as well. We'll do the following. Hang on. What is happening? Just a second, please. Oh yeah, of course, sorry, my mistake. I added the channel subscribe power to member and not to channel admin. My mistake. Sorry about that. Now, they're both channel admins, and the channel admin has 50 channel subscribe power. Now, you will see, I'm server admin. I have got a subscribe power of 75. It will not be overridden by the channel admin group because I am channel admin in here. I do not get these 50 because I have the skip flag enabled for the group. Test alpha is channel admin in channel A. The channel admin has a channel subscribe power of 50, and there is a needed channel subscribe power of 50 on clan A. He can see who's inside. For clan B, he cannot. Test beta has it the other way around. He cannot see anything happening in clan A. He can see what's happening in clan B. Now, you could of course say test alpha should be a member in test beta and give him member rights in there, move him out, and now he can see both. Whereas he can still just see one. So that's one thing you could do, restricting the, let's say, vision. Another thing you could do is join, with join power. I'll make a subchannel for this. Create subchannel. I'll call this members only for both. Okay, there we go. We have our members only channels, and what's happening in here is test alpha is channel admin in the parent channel, so he will have his channel admin inherited from the parent channel. So he's a channel admin in there as well. All I will do on this channel is I will add a needed join power of 50. Same for this one. Needed channel join power of 50. Please note that there's no needed subscribe power on here, so people should be able to see who's inside. Now I will give the channel admin a channel join power of 50, and we'll see what will happen. The test alpha can join both clan A and members only. He can join clan B, but not their members only channel. For beta, it should be the other way around. Yeah, there we go. So that is what's happening. You might want to put a password on clan A or anything. One last thing I want to show you about this is how you can pretty much effectively put this into action. That is, if I have my clan A, and he wants our test beta to sign up for the clan. We'll not put any restrictions on the parent channel, but we'll restrict the members only channel so that only members can see who's inside, only members can join this channel, and yeah, that kind of stuff. So test beta, oh hang on. So test beta can see where we are. He can't see client A, he can't see members only, he can't join members only. Now that he's in the parent in the parent channel, we can assign the channel group member to him. Now that he's in channel group member, he can see who's in members only. Whoops. Hang on. There we go. Who's in members only, and he can join the channel. Sorry about that again. So that is inheriting permissions from the parent channel. Another important thing. So I hope this kind of clears things up a little bit and shows you like how you can use the permission system to your advantages. One thing I showed you in the last one, I showed you in a previous example, is you could go on channel permissions for this one and type in poke, need client poke power of 75. So now test alpha cannot poke him. So you could make the members only channel to some, I don't know, don't disturb others, whatever channel. Okay, I hope you found this interesting at least, that you learned something, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up, and yeah, thanks for watching. See you later!